Hey guys, how are you? So, what is the state of SEO in 2018 going into 2019? Okay, before I get into it quickly, whenever you listen to anybody, you should ask yourself, who are these people and what do they know? What background do they have to be able to have a legitimate opinion about something? So, number one, I've been developing websites since '94. Number two, I manage websites to this day that gets a couple million page views per month without even breaking a sweat. So, I have built several websites that get good traffic, so I understand SEO like the back of my hand, and I understand web marketing fairly well, going back, a couple decades. So SEO originally, search engine optimization, was a very different thing than it is today. In the old days, SEO was more or less going into code, fixing it up so that it was more search engine friendly. In the old days, we used to build websites in a way that presented problems for search engines in terms of being able to index, being able to crawl, being able to snoop and read what was in the sites, especially if you had things like image-heavy sites or Flash-based sites. Flash is an old technology that people used to use quite a bit. So SEO experts in those days used to go in there and fix up the code, add alt attributes and a whole bunch of other things to make the sites readable by the search engines. Much has changed since those days, though. In that time, we had something called the Web Standards Revolution, if you will, where basically people all built sites, so that they were search engine friendly, meaning the sites were crawlable, indexable, readable by search engines, so the search engines could figure out how to categorize the sites, the search engines could figure out what was in the sites. Well, the search engines, the only one that really matters is Google, of course. In addition to that, search engines like Google, I guess Bing, but I don't know who uses Bing, or DuckDuckGo. There's others, I suppose, but Google's the king. Google's search engine became much more sophisticated in of itself. But today, so it was able to read sites much more effectively. Today, though, in 2018, I'm recording this in October, things have changed quite a bit since the early days. SEO has become a broader term for optimizing the site's content to a certain extent, although if the site is built properly, which most sites are built properly these days using modern methods, you don't really need to go in there and tweak code per se. You have to tweak content. I'll get into that in a second. It has much more to do with marketing as well. So it's not so much tweaking the site, but it's also, or the structure of the site. It's a lot to do with creating an environment, if you will, a macro environment around the site that includes web marketing. So that means social media is a big part of it, by the way. Social media is a big part of it. I don't know how many years ago it was, but at some point in time, Google started putting a lot of weight on a social media mentions to rank sites. That's a big part of it. In the old days, it used to be just what keywords you had in your pages and inbound links from other sites, which is cool. But now they still do that, by the way, but they spend a lot more attention looking at social media mentions as well, which kind of makes sense, right? Because if a particular site is mentioned a lot in social media, a lot of links shared across Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or whatnot, YouTube, then Google will say, oh, there's a lot of activity about this particular site, this particular article, this particular video, so they're going to give it a lot of weight. Of course, I would guess, and it's just a guess, that Google would give favorable positioning, if you will, for content that is on their platforms. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm guessing if you have a popular YouTube video, they're going to give that weight in their search results rather than a popular Facebook video. If you have lots of mentions on Google Plus, I don't know who uses Google Plus these days. I would imagine they would give that more weight. Again, it's a guess. Nobody knows what's going on in the black box of the Google search engine algorithm, but I think that's a part of it. And who knows where else their tentacles, rather, Google's tentacles are, moving about in terms of determining ranking. At the end of the day, it's in Google's best interest to return effective search results, right? Because if the search becomes bad, then less people, in theory, would use the engine. So there's probably this balancing act that Google is playing in terms of where they are driving traffic. All that said and done, tried and true SEO / web marketing philosophy, if you will, or best practices stand today just as well as they did 10 years ago or so, or 15 years ago, since 2000, almost 15 years now. So, and the proof of that are my websites, killersites.com, killerphp.com, howtobuildwebsites.com, csstutorial.net. These are my sites, and still to this day, they rank really highly, and they've been ranking really highly for 10 years or so. And the reason is because I built those sites up with foundational search engine optimized structures in place, if you will. I should have come up with a better term, but basically the sites were conceived of, designed, structured, and promoted in a way that they would be evergreen, meaning that Google would consider them good sources of information for a long time. I won't get into all the details here in this vlog, but let me just say this. At the end of the day, when it comes to search engine optimization and web marketing, content is still king. Content is still king. You can have the best code layout, you can have the prettiest design, you can have the best strategies, if you will, social strategies, but if your content is no good, it's at best you're going to get a little blip in terms of activity on the site. So content is king, and if you're looking to promote a site or a business or website, you have to have a good SEO strategy, good marketing strategy, no question, but it has to be backed by a strong foundation in valuable content that the web will find useful. All right, I hope you found this video useful, and it's very rare that I say this, very rare, but apparently it works. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give me 2 thumbs down. And if you really like the video, subscribe. And don't be afraid to share the content, because the more feedback I get from you guys, comments, thumbs up, down, sharings, etc., allows me to determine what style of content, what type of subjects, what style of presentation is interesting for you guys. And I pay attention. I answer questions in the comments, as people know who follow my channel. And that's about it. At this time, I got about 91,000 subscribers, which is kind of cool. When I started this project, I revitalized this. I started actually posting on a regular basis to this channel about a year and a half, 2 years ago or something. And with what I had, 10,000 subscribers. And I had no expectations of anything, and it's grown quite a bit. So we're heading to the 100,000 mark very soon. I imagine we'll be there within the next 2.5 months or so. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for 100,000, but I will at least have 1 coffee that day. I might have 2, or maybe something else. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.